Here we go again. A grand finals between two of my very favorite players to watch. You're not going to be the least bit surprised to see the Zerg player in the bottom right of Grezvin in the red, the final boss. It is Dark. But a worthy challenger approaches. One of the very few Protoss who can even pretend to finish Dark's level or play to it. Of course, not the player we deserve, but the one we need right now. The smiling assassin. It's hero. And this is the grand finals of the Korean StarCraft 2 League. We've gone through several weeks now, always showing some of the best games for the fans. And if you like those good games, well, make sure to check them out in the description. A lot of you have already supported the league and these players, but support me, like, subscribe. You only have a few moments as the first Oracle comes in. Hopefully you enjoy the commentary, and I'm sure I'm going to enjoy this series no matter which direction, up, down, sideways it goes. And with these two, it's going to be very difficult to predict. I think in their history overall, Hero has gotten the better of Dark. I have nothing to back that up but my feelings. But Dark recently seems to have ascended or descended to another level. He just, in his, what will probably be his last months of StarCraft 2 professionally, has decided he likes winning. So, has done even more of it than usual. And is looking like a menace, though some of the slickest Oracle micro will ensure that he doesn't get off to too strong a start. Already sliding by and killing 5 drones is Hero, despite Dark's preparation. Queen's not enough to stop him. Well, third base is already on the way. The Oracle start, followed with the Twilight and the Forge, is a staple of Hero and therefore Protoss gameplay. Dark, on the other hand, a little bit hamstrung by the loss of those drones. A Hydra rush. I say rush because having a lair and getting Hydras before or around the 5-minute mark is nearly unheard of. Almost always a Roachborn. Hero going to see the Hydraless Den. I'm not sure what he's going to think about it. There's a bunch of Adepts here, but not enough to really threaten the Queens and the Lings. Without Glaives, they're not going to be able to slice through those Zerglings nearly as easily. Spore Crawler's not quite done. Hero not going to really have an opportunity to take advantage of that, though. 14 more drones are on the way. Going to try to burn through a Queen as Hero. Brenda, why do we never put a creep tuber close to the ramp? How many years has it been? Shut up, Susan. You know the rules. Well, unfortunately, the Queen's not able to get a hold of those. Well, we got one of the... The badly bruised Oracle is not with the main force. Just trying to keep it in reserve. Dark is up to 72 drones. I think he relied on the Hydra Den, keeping Hero busy. Because when you see that Hydra Den, you're already expecting some aggression. Getting the Hydra Den that early is... oh, really, Hero? Really, Hero, with this supply block? Half the Chrono Boost wasted as he's trying to get his first Prism. But Hydras are a pretty direct counter to the Blink Stalker style here, even if they aren't so great against the Adepts. So far, Hero playing a perfect game, hasn't lost a single unit. Just canceled probably a pylon or something at some point. But a Lurker rush. Dark quickly, well, I think comfortably the best Lurker player in the world. His Lurkers get a disgusting amount done, and he makes a disgusting amount of them. Even when he makes only a handful, they seem to be the highest impact units in the game. But oftentimes he pumps up the number to, I think the record's 30 we've seen from him on the field, not in overall. That's well over 100, but 30 on the field at one time. Nearly 100 supply of Lurkers, which doesn't leave much room for anything else. But Dark is nothing if not decisive. So a Lurker Den, a Hive on the way. We're 7.5 minutes in. I cannot stress how quick this is. Rarely do you see lurkers until double digits. And if then, after getting some Vipers, trying other things, but no, lurkers are the choice. Hydraling lurker up against this Blinkstalker composition, well suited to dealing with it. Still hasn't lost a unit, hero here, though he hasn't really committed to anything drastic. The Blinkstalkers, more than capable of getting in and out quickly there. The Oracles, the summoning circle, trying to summon a summoning circle of its own. The Disruptor, which of course casts that Purification Nova. Still, fires a volley. Chases down the Queen and gets a lurker for his trouble. Still, not a unit lost from hero. Still a perfect game, but still Dark comfortably holding on to 4 bases. So it's not like hero is in a winning position because he's been so cost effective. It's just he hasn't really committed to anything yet. But it looks like feeling a little more committed now, as the very first unit will be, well, has he? Okay, all right, Stalker caught and killed. Disruptor volley doing quite a good job. Loses 2 Stalkers in the fight, but he's, wow, hero's efficiency. But once again, he has to break the lurkers. It looks like he's not going to do that directly, but instead circumventing them with air units is the plan. Pretty decent dodge there. The Queen's holding on for now, transfusing one another. One of them gets blasted aside. But overall, the hero just in a holding pattern. Dark, will he recognize this in time? As hero is clearly, well, not so clearly, but hero is kind of sitting back. Disruptors. Ooh, one of them pulled out. That will save the lurker. Another one clipping the lurker on the ground. Disruptor getting caught and killed. And, well, clearly not making much headway here. A mothership is on the way. Hero beat Dark somewhat recently with this Sky Toss army. I think it was the ESO. I'm not sure. Not too long ago. With a quick mothership timing, essentially before Dark was really able to put together some direct anti-air. And this is kind of a similar scenario, where Dark is focused very much on the lurkers. Hydras are not so much an anti-air unit as a deterrent, as getting those Hydras in range of carriers, especially with a mothership and disruptors, is a bit of a fool's errand the vast majority of the time. Well, the base is established. How many lurkers on the field? 13 and counting. Adaptive Talon's done. +2, ranged attack on the way, but back at Hero's base. They do have those 3 Hero! Finish your pylons! Another supply block Chrono boost from Hero. So while he might be efficient with his units, not so much with his supply. Actually gonna delay his carrier timing a bit. Not sure how much impact that will have, but definitely annoying. And going to lose a bunch of Zealots up to the north side. Can Hero take advantage of this in any way? Can he catch any of these units out of position? Parasitic Bomb. Oh, yanks out a Disruptor, saves the Lurker with it, brings some more in, get back over here. Trying to deal with it, blinks in. The exchange, ooh. The Zergling Force Field via the Stasis, the Lurker. Okay, at some point the Stasises might be too good. This is an example of failing successfully, as the Stasises have created such a weird position that Hero can't really fight. The carriers show up to the party, but they forgot to bring detection, so they can't deal with the lurkers head on. And Dark has just decided to go everywhere else simultaneously. He's in the third, starting to kill a handful of these, but a mothership comes out to save the day. What a play there. A mothership saves a lot of the probes at that base. Yanks at a carrier, though. We'll be able to target it down. At least the first one gets it just in time. Disruptor discourages any further pursuit. There's still a lurker over here. Depowered the robo, killed the pylon that was rebuilding. Did Hero forget about his warp prism? It is very possible. Lurkers dunk their heads down in the creep. We'll hold on for now. Hero cleans up the lurker back at his third. But so far, the death ball's in the death ball here. With the disruptors and the carriers, creating quite a fierce army to contend with. But Dark is still he still has the initiative. Hero is by no means in a position to press the issue without cost. This is not a maxed out army. There aren't that many carriers, but the disruptors will open up some of the lurkers. The Templar are just here for feedback on the Vipers. So this is a beatable army, but it's not going to be particularly easy. Vipers, he yanks in the most important part of the pill. He gets the mothership. He brings it in again, just to make sure. Double taps it. And even though there is the time warp, the minus 400, the most expensive unit in the game. I guess if you don't count the carrier interceptor cost, but is yanked out of the fray. And Dark dismantles it. But at what cost? Yeah, honestly, not bad. Now, that efficiency is evaporating. As Dark is, yeah, he's lost a little bit more, but compared to how much both these players have gathered and how much they put on the field, it is a minor amount. So, it looks like we are about to, as we've seen so many times with these two, get into something of a base trade. The carriers and disruptors, he's going to recall. Is that enough? Maybe? I don't know. It's two Hydras. There's a lot of Hydras. Hero with a not a particularly committed recall here. The interceptors are dying. The rest of the army is coming back. This is a mess either way. The lurkers are just going to run underneath. There's not enough interceptors to intercept them. Probes, not the best unit. They get sliced and diced in the wall here. And Dark is just diving through into the natural. A handful of zealots on the other side. Lurkers in the natural, at the fourth, in the main. He's getting everywhere. Once they get in, it's so hard to get them out. Disruptor shot, gotta be careful. Another lurker taken out. Hero, well, manages to clean it up, and somehow the supplies are still about even. There's still 12 carriers on the field. Wow, that is a dangerous amount with +2 air attack. So the carriers are a lot to contend with. Is there any detection back here? Oh no. Another lurker gets in. There are infestors on the way. Pathogen glands is done. No neural parasite. But the Hydra is actually going to get one carrier for free, though they might get chased down here. And the base trade will continue. Dark has decided that the best way... hello, Ricky. Ricky, the accidental swarm host, has graced us with his presence. Not that anybody wanted him here, but it happens. And Hero keeps coming back. He split off some of the carriers to the right flank. Microbial Shroud. Yeah, Microbial Shroud is used, reducing the damage to those interceptors by half. There's 5 observers on the field right now. The carrier's out of interceptors. Carriers are a rich man's unit, and right now Hero's starting to run out of money. Are we really gonna see multiple sets of locusts from... Let me see it. Come on, Ricky. A second set. Come on. I think he's microing on the other side. Certainly he is. As another set, Microbial Shroud plus Fungal, softening up those interceptors. More on the back, another Microbial Shroud. Microbial Shroud's just confusing everyone here. Coating the Hydras, making it so hard for those interceptors to find a critical mass. And suddenly, Hero is out of money. More Shrouds. The interceptor count is dwindling. And it looks like Dark, through sheer economics and attrition, may very well... There's still one Hydra. Oh my god. And then Dark hits the select all army hotkey. Stop right there, criminal scum. The probes will kill the Hydra, which means he may mine enough to afford a handful more interceptors. But Dark still has 62 workers. Microbial Shroud easily dealing with the... Oh, and he hits all the observers with a fungal. And Dark, by default, Dark handles the carriers. It wasn't easy. But okay. Well, Dark in a convoluted but appropriate manner takes game 1. I wouldn't recommend attempting that style at home of trying to pick apart the Kair's hero with some very hard decisions. The mothership, I don't know if I could call it worth it. I mean, it seemed like a good idea at a time, as many times the mothership does, but that time ran out pretty quickly. Well, Jimmy, can we get into the game though? Dark off to a, I'm not gonna say commanding 1-0 victory, as it definitely could have gone the other way. If even one of those counterattacks was shut down instead of slowly scraped away, then I think it's likely Dark could have gotten overrun by that critical mass. But instead, Dark was able to slowly stretch out the carrier count, the interceptor count, into nothing. And all that efficiency and all that fancy micro at the start ended up meaning very little. Well, I'm not sure if there was a probe here, if Dark just took his third out of habit. It doesn't... Oh, no, there was a probe. Okay, hero scouted, and then he left. As, knows Dark won't be stopped for long. I'd be surprised if we saw anything but Stargate. But, yeah, there's the Twilight. Just kind of adding the foreshadowing there. As the Twilight Council. Slightly more rare. The Stargate is a nice, safe, controlled choice. We forgot the ducklings. Always a concern. Though, without context. What are we gonna do without him? While we debate this. Resonating glares. A depth shade. Cleans up the Zerg. So he's gonna see... I'm sorry, I was considering a... the implications of... I do believe they mean they forgot some of the casters in the load screen. Or in the lobby. But I choose to believe that Chicken Man and his kindred spirit ducklings were lost. And now he has to, like, go outside, get his code on, go out looking for him. Unfortunately, left the ducklings outside when he came in to cast some StarCraft. Which is always a concern. No, it's not. But let's pretend we live in a world where it is. It's not a Disney movie, all right? It's somehow R-rated, but not for the reasons you'd think. Moving on. Before we... Well, we're not too far behind. War Prism on the way. A classic Adept Glaives and War Prism build. Is it 4 gates? Indeed it is. With a Robo Bay behind to follow up against the inevitable roaches. So, an old build, but it checks out. As this is the sort of style that it was kind of figured out. Zerg players have dealt with throughout Legacy of the Void. But you make one mistake on either side, really, but very much so on the Zerg side. You're a little out of position. Those adepts can ruin your economy in seconds. And of course, they're quite a mobile unit with their shade ability, able to traverse the map without even necessarily committing to much. You can, of course, cancel it well before it is completed. Though most players will wait. They like edging it. Waiting till that last moment. Will they, won't they? And you'll see a lot of players bite as the shade nears completion. Oh my god. Oh my god! How does he do it? Well, herO's researching War Prism speed. Unfortunately, he's missing a key component now. The warp prism. Well, Dark takes out the prism, which is a massive weight off his shoulders. Well, that's... I don't even think, like... The premonition. There's no way... Hero even was dodging. He didn't realize that Dark had predicted his dodge and aimed for where he was dodging to. The next level mind game there. And that is clearly going to be an advantage to Dark. Though, even despite all it... So this... It isn't overwhelming because he had to invest a lot in defense early. So that means his worker count is only one above here. He's at 54 to 53. And there are disruptors coming across. The Warp Prism wasn't game-ending to lose. It was just a setback. Though disruptors can do the same for Dark. A Spire on the way. Part of the reason why a Stargate is such a popular opener is that the Spire, of course, kind of precludes any sort of Spire... I mean, the Stargate makes it so any sort of Spire play is either risky or foolhardy. But of course, when your opponent is opening up with Twilight and a Robo, the anti-air is incredibly limited. And by that I mean maybe like 3 Stalkers. The only question is whether he'll see the Spire beforehand. Oh no, Brenda! Obliterated by the Purification Novas. Unfortunate. Adept's looking for something, but... Hero? Gateways 5 and 6 finishing. Disruptors in the main, but they're on cooldown here. The Spire will be spotted. A bit awkwardly. Oh, looking for the drones. Decides on just the Queen, barely clips her. But here comes Hero. The best defense against Mutas is a good offense. Hero understands that, of course. +1 and Blink on the way, so moving out a little earlier than maybe he would have liked to, but really wants to put himself out there. Disruptor shot. Gets a few Ravagers. The Gateway army looking quite substantial here. Observer goes down to Spore Crawlers, unfortunately. Mutas are out. Dark without a huge economic lead or anything, so he can't really afford to lose too many drones. Mutas are heading across the map. He's decided once again to try to just avoid the army and pick it apart. But that has cost him valuable time. Disruptor finds 2 more Ravagers. Another Ruptor shot. Takes out the Warp Prism. 21 drones slaughtered as the Mutas were trying to engage. And it kind of looks like Dark is getting ground down into nothing as Hero takes back Game 2. Well... That was a bit of a turnaround. As Dark looked in a great position to go Mutas, but I think the call to just send them across the map after the Spire was scouted, either overestimating the ground army or underestimating the Mutas, or his advantage overall. I don't know, that felt weird. It is often like that when you're up against the Twilight builds, but I think seeing the Spire and just being able to build... no, underestimating the defenses is what I meant. As Hero, of course, already had a cannon and a battery. So, won't be a clean sweep, at least. Jimmy, can we get Game 3, please? I'm floundering here. Oh, yeah, sure. Distract them. Put the memes. Give us the memes. Okay. Thank you. All right, Game 3. Probe Scout goes out. I don't think we can read too much into that last game. Both players trying things. I can't get over that Warp Prism snipe. But as was demonstrated, that doesn't necessarily mean you're in a great spot in order to follow up. In fact, I think that may have given Dark a false sense of security. Like, I got the Prism, I can just macro it out, go to layer tech. He may have found more success by just pressing the issue with a Ravager Ling timing. as it really does cut into your economy, how much you have to build to deal with the Adepts. And Dark was only just catching up with hero's economy, despite everything beforehand. Alright, Hero, what's it gonna be? I'd be very surprised if he didn't go Stargate on Ancient Cistern. Well, tied for, or maybe the largest map in the entire pool. Rush distance, quite significant. Third and fourth bases, relatively easy to defend. But of course, well, he's showing Warp Gate. Does that mean he's going Twilight, or he just wants Dark to think he's going Twilight? Which is what I'm watching here, because Dark will see the real mind game. So, the amount of little details players read into. It's pretty much accepted. You skip Warp Gate to get a Stargate slightly faster. 50 gas faster. So the Overlord comes in, sees, it doesn't see the little icon, but it sees a little animation of the Cyber Core doing its research. And based on that, well, whether or not they're doing that, you can tell whether they're going Stargate. But unfortunately, Dark knows trust but verify. And, well, hero's very, like, the smallest of mind games. Such a small mind game that it's just like, do a normal build. Don't skip anything. That's the mind game. But Dark will get in, see the Stargate. Not gonna get a sneaky pulled on him. And, that means he has all the information to kick things off. What does he do with it? Ling counterattack. He's trying to deny the third. No, you don't build this many Lings because you want to counter Adepts. No. These Lings are for delaying the third base. You only need about 8 to deal with those Adepts. So, with these extra Lings, I think the third base is very much in trouble. Second Oracle going to be required. Luckily for the probe, he started the Nexus, which might make all the... Nope, he cancels it. Gets it in time. Adepts actually find an angle. They kill several drones. 3 drones down. Dark's got to be careful not to leave himself in the same position. Which is having a good amount of map control, but almost no economy. So Hero just tries the other side. With the Oracles, he should... Yeah, and a nice little Adept Shade there. Should be able to hold on to the third. And now we have to figure out... Now Hero has to decide what sort of counter-aggression. He's gonna send out the Adepts, you gotta threaten. Oracle staying at home. Dark actually built some more Lings, I think. Yeah, he built a couple more. Maybe one more round. Not going to be enough to delay the third, but make sure he can deal with these Adepts that are now shading from his third base in towards his natural. And the natural doesn't have any Spore Crawlers, which I think both Dark and Hero realize simultaneously as Dark pulls the drones away. But, okay, there is a Spore. Suddenly it seems like Hero's living rent-free, or at least very cheaply, in Dark space. Kind of an awkward position. Dark somehow locked out of his own base because of the Adepts and the Oracles, but at the natural, this is really starting to add up. Dark is adding a Nidus, which has been spotted, by the way. Which, it feels a lot more like desperation than it feels like the original strategy. Yeah, once again, Hero knows what's coming. A Nidus on the way. Is it spotted on the low ground? It is not. So while this is born out of desperation and a pretty terrible economy, it still has some teeth here, as there's only 2 gateways and the Stargate. 2 more on the way. Blink and +1 aren't quite done yet. Stasis Ward is... He's actually just going to get the third, which leaves us in an even more awkward position of somehow Dark maybe macroing this out. Despite the kind of panic Nidus there's a very real chance that Dark now can just go home and build drones. He's building the drones. Yeah, hero taking it quite seriously. He's got a cannon, a shield battery, but so many we've arrived! The queens are here! And there's no blink! How is it? I don't know how he does this. Somehow he baited hero into thinking that he wouldn't have anything. But suddenly, like, 8 queens show up on his front lawn, turning it very quickly into their front lawn, spreading creep everywhere. Gets the army caught out, the lings swing in, and just like that, Dark has baited hero into, well, he's regained, I think Dark has regained the lead. Dark has been building drones. He's got a Hydra Den on the way. Was quite successful in game 1 with enough Hydras to shut down the Blink Stalkers and any sort of gateway follow-up, which is all we have right now. They're gonna come in, hero, microing well to snipe off some of these drones. Saved at the last second by morphing into a Spore Crawler. 9 Hydras on the way. Revelation did a good job of clearing out the creep from the Nidus. So, here we are. It looks like maybe not quite the lead I expected, but still a comfortable economy for Dark. He's evened it out. He's caught up, and he's got the Hydras on the way. So if hero steps even one of those fancy Stalker legs too far on the creep, the Hydras will easily deal with them. And also, I'm loving seeing Hydras being an actual fighting unit, as opposed to a lurker in waiting. Dark showing he can use the whole Zerg Buffalo if he would. I've said many times, like let's pick a unit that Dark doesn't use or can't make work. And, well, that's, once we find one. So far, Mutas, I guess, but very well could have been the choice, given another 20, 30 seconds on the previous match. Queens and Hydras. Targeting down his hero, but knows that the damage output of those Hydras more than enough to compete with the Stalkers, even if the Stalkers have an upgrade advantage. Hydra's main weakness is how fragile they are against splash damage, and in general against things like Zealots, but Stalkers just do not trade well. The best ability of the Stalker is the ability to retreat quickly via the blink, and efficiently. Well, Infestation put on the way. The creep will spread out more conventionally. Stalker count growing here. 69 probes and counting for hero. Hive on the way. Despite everything, still getting a hive at 9.5 minutes. Quite quick. Storm in production as well. So Storm, the very clear counter to Mass Hydra, Ling and Bane. Hydra, Lings, and Banes, well, Lings and Banes being filled in now. Baneling Nest just completed. Should be seeing Baneling speed in the production tab momentarily. The one thing I'm surprised we're missing, especially with this much gas in the bank, is the Lurker Den. Rock's also a natural enemy of the Zerg. Dark deals with him. We've got the macro hatch in the main, the first of what could be many. Pathogen glands on the way, looking for an opportunity to hold down the Stalkers, ideally. Three hatcheries in production simultaneously. So Dark really ramping it up. 84 drones here. The Hydra count is quite high behind all these Zerglings. No adrenal glands yet. The Zergling force field created. Templar building up a significant amount of energy. So many upgrades in Dark's main. Pathogen glands nearing completion. Ultraless Cavern on the way. Infestors in production. Gonna try to surround the Zergling. Slippery creatures will be spotted. Starts +1 air weapons. I don't think that was for show. I wouldn't be surprised if hero increments his way into carriers. A third Evo chamber. He may very well want to go triple upgrades. No Vipers. Yeah, 8 Infestors on the way. The Zealots are going to be cleaned up. Do we have Adrenal Glands? No, he hasn't actually gotten that upgrade yet. Such a huge damage upgrade for the Zerglings. Especially combined with the melee attack. Hero, Warp Prism. No Ravagers to snipe it off. Fleet Beacon is on the way. Is he really going to rush into Mothership? I guess why not? It's been a long while since I've seen multiple Motherships in a series. Let alone a game. Alright, well, the Templar are indeed revealed. As dramatically as possible as the storm washes away most of those banelings. Hatchery trying to be targeted. Ah, it's dark! It's like, oh, he deserves it. Oh my god. The hero zealot may very well kill that hatchery. Gets distracted by the drones. Honestly, probably better. That's just an easy to kill hatchery later on. More storms. Warding away from the south. Feedbacks to the north. One fungal comes through, but nothing to follow it up. The zealots still going to work. Dark losing a lot of drones and not finding an angle to engage this army. Mothership is in production. Well, Dark is maxed out with nowhere to go. Finally, that hatchery dies, as well as the one to the north. More Infestors, no Lurkers in this army to combine with it. Feedback Storm. A lot of damage output here. Another incredible fungal, but still so many more storms on the back line. More upgrades completing. Whole lot of Templar. Might be able to storm to the high ground. Doesn't have vision there to cast it. The Hydras are getting some of the Templar before they're able to cast their storms with the Hydra count itself. Starting to thin out. Dark is reinforcing. 13 more Hydras on the way. Mothership halfway done. Hero driven back eventually by the reinforcements of Dark on the creep. But he got 2 bases and took some good trades in there. But, very interestingly, Dark has actually lost 1,000 less gas. And almost all of that has been the Infestors. Handful of the Banelings as well. 20. Okay, that's a pretty big handful. Depends on how big your hands are. But, assuming at least moderately large hands, a handful of Banelings. With 3-3 on the way now. Mothership and +2 air weapons. I think the Mothership combined with a full ground army as opposed to mass carrier is even better. As even losing detection for just a few moments can be devastating. Not being able to get a hold or even spot the Templar is how games are won or lost. Well, Infestor stuck in front. Fungal catches the back. Maybe gets one Archon, does so. Hydras from the high ground. Storms will ward them away. Some of them softened up. Will heal slowly, unless the queens get involved, in which case it'll be a little quicker. I believe the Warp Prism was spotted, but another Warp Prism just kind of sitting in the corner. Waiting for its moment. He's got it in warp-in mode, so it doesn't accidentally get caught by a select all army hotkey. 3 carriers on the way. Hero. Now, once again, still no Lurkers for Dark. I think he doesn't want to be caught by that big Sky Toss switch. And so far, the Hydra's doing just fine on their own. Where are the Templar? Mothership is revealed. This is quite a death blow, though. Fungal catches the Templar on the way up. Beautiful Fungals right now. And he's even going to get some of the Templar. Indeed, down to 4. Not too much energy between them either. And Ultralists don't care too much about your silly storms. A lot of the Immortals have already gone down. Once again, Dark is going to try to evade most of the army, but in the main base, the Queens will sacrifice themselves in order to get the Prism. But the Zealots have already been warped in. Up to the north, a couple carriers will try to deal with the Hydras, but that's not nearly enough DPS, or it shouldn't be. I'm not sure. 21 probes have gone down. The Ultras are about to pop out of the eggs, and once again, these two are just laying into one another. Chitinous plating about to complete. The upgrades in the main may very well be denied. +3 melee attack about to complete as well. Should be able to chop through the Zealots with relative ease. Indeed, actually, Ultras will save the base, but the carriers will save the north. 15 drones down. Single Hydra over to the right flank. Still the mothership intact. What does Dark have to respond with? Well, that's quite an answer. Did he lose the Hydra Den? No. But between the reinforcements and the fact he didn't really do much to herO's economy, means herO will actually be on match point here. Well, another hectic game. Remember that started with Dark being locked out of his own base between the oracles and the adepts, just getting so much done. But Dark brought it back with the Nidus, or at least brought it even. Close even. I guess that counts as brought it back. That counts. And all of this has brought us to Game 4. Jimmy, please. herO. Gonna break our streak of people complaining, Winter, you only show Protoss losing. Well, I'm gonna let you in on a bit of a secret. There's not too many Protoss playing at this level. Now, to start the eternal debate on whether skilled players just play the other races, or if Protoss is underpowered. You make your guesses and your assumptions and your complaints. Always fun discussion. But right now, essentially, it's herO in Korea, in max packs outside of it. There is a little bit of a deeper bench of Zerg players and Terran. Maru Beyond Cure in Korea, and Clem and herO Marine outside. Innovation, I guess, is back, but he has yet to prove himself. So is Stats, but Stats hasn't been playing in everything yet. I don't think Innovation nor Stats are quite back to that level they were at one point. But yeah, it is pretty much herO. Classic on occasion, but I think Classic has some significant weaknesses. Mostly in gauging his timings. Classic has a tendency to tech up really hard when he thinks he has an opportunity, and sometimes die in the process. Now that's just kind of a staple of Protoss, but I think that's the reason why a lot of the time Classic isn't able to survive through to the finals of many of these tournaments. Players like Dark just pick him apart. But herO has adapted to Dark, even despite that last game. A lesser player very much could have crumbled to the Nidus doing anything. He spotted the Nidus, yet it still almost turned the game around entirely. herO was able to hold on barely, but many players would have tilted themselves into oblivion there, but herO holds. And this is, occasionally herO has those off days. Honestly, kind of like Zest. Or previously Dark. Though Dark has decided not to have any off days. But days where he just, like, there's nothing in the wall, the Zerglings get in, supply blocked. It looked like it in the first game maybe, but he's picked it up. Making sure that Overlord doesn't get a moment to hang out by those fancy golden minerals up there. It's been a very solid series between these two. But so far, herO getting the better of Dark. Playing the full game as well. That's the interesting part, is 2 out of 3 games have gone all the way from early game skirmishes to not quite end game, but the late game tech. Hive tech versus Fleet Beacon, essentially. We'll have to see where Game 4 ends up. Yeah. Well, Oracles find an opportunity. Actually, even I believe they hit a Zergling first. So, well, 2 Adepts and 2 Oracles, and not too many Spore Crawlers in between these bases right now. The Adepts get in. They are able to shade away, but I believe there's already Queens ready to deal with it, indeed. So, 6 drones. I lied. Apparently everything he hit, he doesn't miss. 6 drones down. Well, Twilight behind this. And a whole... Ooh, is this a charge lot timing? Or even just a Glaive to Depths? That is a lot of gates to be adding on. Even though he has gases at his natural, no forge. Yeah, okay, 5 gates. It's gonna bring him to 7. No forge means, I think, continued aggression. 5 adepts here. Shades into the natural. The Zerglings will try to match him. Of course, they don't have glaives, but they're still quite a threat to the drones. Oracle sliding in, 10 drones down. Killing them almost as fast as Dark can put them back on the field. And it is charge. Still with a lot of gas from those. Wait, did he pull off of gas? Oh. Yeah, he took the gases. I think, well, Dark didn't end up scouting it, but for the benefit... Well, he did want the gas for some oracles. So, Oracle charge lot. Huh. Well. It's another older build. It's one of those kind of off-center timings. This hits right when you're trying to drone out as Zerg. Before a normal blink timing will show up. So the idea here is you'll kind of sucker punch them right as they're scaling up their economy. And that's exactly what Dark is doing right now. He's got roaches just now starting. He's got 72 drones. So it may very well be that hero's waited a bit too long here. And Dark is gonna see it. I mean, even without charge done. You know exactly what's happening. You see that many charges. Come on. You know what's happening. Away we go. Well, the Aura Charge. Nope, working title. So many Moracles. As well, he's just trying to build a nice little Sim City here in order to funnel the charge lots. And so far, I think doing a pretty great job of it. Burning through the Spore Crawlers, trying to stay out of the range of the Queens, but feeling like he has enough to burn through the Queens. Drawing the attention here. And the charge lot's eating any amount of the attacks, and suddenly... Dark left with very little. Fires off some corrosive biles. But it does appear the timing in between when... Well, Dark just didn't have a critical mass of roaches. He doesn't have speed. Burns through some more spores. Hero on the cusp of victory, actually taking a match off of Dark in his current shape. Speed is about to complete. It looks like Dark may be able to clean things up on the ground, and the oracles are literally running out of energy. So the attack is starting to dwindle, but Dark has already taken near critical damage. A Baneling Nest, vulnerable at the front, but not dead. And oh, wait a second. Rumors of his demise may have been greatly exaggerated. As Dark, well, still more charge lots on the way. Hero, though, is at 72 probes. He hasn't been slouching on the other side. Some Stalkers being added in. There's still very little anti-air to deal with this. And by that I mean it's just corrosive bile, and Stark has to dodge some of his own corrosive biles. The oracles are regaining energy, continually threatening, but not going to activate until the last possible moment, because it's guaranteed damage against this. He lights him up. And the corrosive bile gonna land on some of these zealots. He did bait out the oracle hits. Dark losing a lot here. But he is losing it on the other side of the map. And how does he do it? Dark is in the natural. The roaches are slipping in. Another round of roaches. Burrow is on the way, but the zealots actually held the line. Even if they couldn't hold the wall. And oh, Dark! Dark with the Ravager in order to block the wall. Saying, well, if you weren't using it, I will. And again, using that Ravager to lock things out. 16 probes down. Despite no anti-air, despite minimal army supply, Dark is still finding a whole lot of damage. Still working to the left side. It looks like the 4th Nexus may very well go down. Burrow is still about 20 seconds off. If he had it when he got into the natural, this game would be looking even more dramatic. But I think hero will be able to clean up most of the attacks here. Even though the roaches continue across the map. The Oracle count. He's got 10 Oracles. Oh, well. Hero. With a kind of obscene amount. This will go down in the Legends of Loracles. And I'm not even being rhetorical, as I don't know how many Moracles he will build. But at this point, he may be getting Soracle. Okay, stop. Stop it! Stop! There are roaches burrowing everywhere! There should be enough energy for Revelation. But Dark has found an even better way for getting rid of the Oracle energy. By forcing him to detect the burrowed roaches. Dark is continuing to use every tool available, making the roaches really live up to their name. Zerglings get into the natural. They are revealed, but... Oh, he's gonna burrow it! Oh, doesn't quite get it. But he drags all the oracles back. There's still a roach over here. Robo begins with a roach. Roach sees the Robo. I'm pretty sure I just saw Dark select it as well. So he sees the Robo timing. But finally, the oracles have been freed from murder. Oh no. There's just there's no spore. There's nothing. Burrow the drones! Suddenly, Dark is left with... Well, yeah, he's got... That's unfortunate. Even one Spore Crawler could have slowed that down a lot. Dark just gonna try to rebuild drones, but that was kind of an oversight. As... Well, suddenly down to 53 against 61 workers, and that's after recovering. After push comes to shove, it looks like Hero's gonna shove back. Now, the Queen count at 4, up against 10 Oracles. But, once again, the energy is quite low. The upgrades, +2 melee, +1 range, the shift blink down. Blink Stalker Oracle army. Continues battling. I mean, I don't know if Dark is ever going to have enough army to deal with this. The Oracle's adding their damage in. Some of the roaches come back. Zerglings trickling out. Blocks on top, but Hero is your Korean StarCraft 2 League champion. A convoluted series. A bit confusing, but always entertaining. Dark taps it out. Unable to compete with Hero today with his precision early game and his comfortable follow-ups, Dark clearly trying to throw the game into chaos, as he so often does. But Hero controls the chaos and turns it right around. Victory for Jimmy! Victory for Hero. 3-1. Solid games. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to check out the Korean StarCraft 2 League in the description. And I hope I made your day a little bit better. Thank you for watching. Good luck, have fun. I'll see you next time. Stay chill. Protoss 1.